I'm Katie Castillo. Welcome to SAU News, a production of the TV news reporting class in the School of Journalism and Communication at Southern Adventist University. As you can see, I'm not in our Broad Hall TV studio. Like most of you, nearly all of the SAU News team is working and producing at home for everyone's health and safety. But thanks to our enterprising reporters, we got stories to share about how students are coping with the crisis and trying to stay mentally and physically well. First, here's a quick roundup of the university headlines for the first week of April. Originally, many students thought they'd have an easier rest of the semester by switching to online schooling. As classes started this week, some individuals are having trouble adapting.
I would say it's been a pretty difficult transition just because I like being able to be in a classroom and utilize the resources like the library and stuff, because that's usually where I study, but at home it's very easy for me to get distracted.
Online classes have been a great resource to stay connected with different staff members and classmates, but they have also been a stress and load for the ones that have a bunch of different circumstances and issues and difficulties during this hard time.
I don't like the online classes. It's very difficult. Meeting with the professor is difficult. Having class with everyone else is hard to have discussions and hard to learn, and we don't have the same resources.
While the university navigates through this last month of online school, finding creative ways to help yourself stay focused and motivated will be important to our success. As social distancing and quarantine continues across the globe, a Southern grad shares her coronavirus experience while living in Europe. SAU News reporter Gia Arroyo brings us the story.
Only a few months after graduating from Southern, alumna Kristen Vano packed her things and moved to France to begin life as an English teacher. With the sudden outbreak of the coronavirus, France is implementing new rules for the French residents.
The French government is definitely taking measures to implement these laws and this lockdown. And now we have to carry government-mandated papers stating our name, our date of birth, where we're going. If we're going for work or personal reasons, we're only allowed to be out for 1 hour per day. So you have to state the time that you leave your home, and you are not allowed to leave more than a kilometer radius of your city.
On Wednesday, the French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe told Parliament that France will not be heading towards a general deconfinement just yet. They have ordered residents to remain indoors at least until April 15th. Even after that date, Philippe said the general deconfinement would not be for everybody.
We don't really know the impacts of this virus, how long it's going to last. I think in France especially, people here, everything is kind of up in the air. Yes, they said another 15 days, but for all we know, it could be another 30 days of lockdown. No one is really sure, and I think that is definitely concerning for a lot of people, myself included.
More than 56,000 cases of COVID-19 have been reported in France, and within the last few days, they have become the fourth country to surpass 4,000 fatalities, following Italy, Spain, and the United States. For SAU News, I'm Gia Arroyo.
Congratulations to Kristen for getting her first big national byline. One of her stories was picked up by the Boston Globe and published on their website last week. President David Smith spoke recently in a video released by Southern Adventist University. In the clip, Smith addressed everyone associated with the university about the effects of the new pandemic and followed up with a message of hope.
I want you to understand we are not alone. We have each other, and we're going to stay in touch and support each other. But even more important, we have God who has promised, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you. God is the one who will make our dream come true. He will bring life back to this campus, and He will take care of us in the meantime, because with His help, we are never alone.
With quarantine in full effect, for many right now, summer plans remain a mystery for the immediate future. The youth summer camp, Cajada Springs, has a tradition of hiring a majority of their staff from Southern. On average, of the 100 or so hired, 50 to 70% are SAU students who help run the camp. This summer is no different, with about 60 Southern students. Camp Director Jonathan Montes is confident that camp will resume as planned. He has words of encouragement and an update for his summer workers.
Right now, we're planning on camp 100%. However, because of the crisis, we are building in some contingency plans. We've been talking with administration and with the leadership, trying to figure out what are some alternatives if things weren't to go our way. One of those options is to have an abbreviated camp to shorten the summer. The other option, obviously, is to cancel it and find maybe some alternative ways of using some of our staff to minister this summer.
Montes and other camp administrators visited the campus for face-to-face interviews earlier this semester. Right now, they're still looking for videography hires, so if you're interested, email the camp or Montes himself. Many students were asking how student missionaries are doing. With more details, here's Hannah Moyer.
Many students were upset that they had to leave Southern campus, but for student missionaries, they had to leave a whole other country. They unexpectedly packed up their bags, went through busy airports, and exposed themselves to a lot of people, just to come home. Leilani Pollock, a junior majoring in physical therapy assistant, was teaching English to children in Albania. She wasn't planning on returning to the United States until August 10th. After having to pack her things and rush back to Texas before the Albanian borders closed, she wasn't able to say goodbye to everyone.
Coming back early was kind of shocking as well because my body wasn't ready for it. I hadn't prepared for it at all mentally or physically.
After returning to the States, Pollock has been self-quarantining at home trying to stay busy. She says she mostly misses the children. Julia Scriven, a junior public relations major, went to Chuuk in Micronesia. She wasn't expecting to come to the U.S. until June 2nd and ended up in Maryland 2 months early. Scriven served as a 4th grade teacher and was able to say goodbye to her students.
It was such a blessing that everyone had a good relationship and just we made so many awesome memories together.
Student missionaries received an email giving them the option to leave. However, it also said that if they stayed, there'd be no guarantee when they'd be able to get home. To stay up to date with COVID-19 and its effects on travel, visit cdc.gov. For SAU News, I'm Hannah Moyer.
Both Pollock and Scriven do not regret going on their mission trips. They recommend it to anyone if you get the chance. Quarantine has been difficult for lots of different reasons, but what many people fail to recognize is taking care of physical and mental health may be the biggest challenge yet. SAU News reporter Stefania Sanchez covers this story from Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Infected with coronavirus. For coronavirus.
With COVID-19 continuing to cause alarm in our country, physical health is the hot topic on all media platforms. While it is highly important to care for our physical being, we tend to forget that our mental health is equally as relevant. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps us determine how we handle stress. Jasmine Mendez, a sophomore communications major at Southern, joined me for an interview. She feels that this quarantine will negatively impact mental health, and it starts with the lack of routine.
Has some type of routine that they follow, something that they're used to, and during this quarantine period, we're all taken out of our routines, which, even if we're good at adapting, it's still something that we have to adapt to and we have to change.
Finding an activity to keep yourself busy during quarantine is a great way to keep your mental health in check. For some, it may be reading a book, and for others, it could be painting. I reached out to a couple of Southern students, and this is what they told me they do for quarantine and keeping their mental health in check.
I've been taking my camera outside and trying to shoot life around me, whether it's in the trees or the new spring that's coming up and stuff like that.
During this quarantine time, I've been just mostly trying to keep active, trying to walk the Greenway because I'm near campus. And I especially like trying to doing it in the morning because there's less people. But for the most part, it's been okay. It hasn't been that bad.
I've been watching movies and I'm talking to my friends back home, and that's about it.
While finding something to keep you busy is important, making sure you have people to talk to can also be very helpful. Southern sent out an email stating that counseling services will continue to be provided through the Zoom platform. Along with counseling services being open, The Title IX office remains in service, and campus safety is still operating 24/7 to help students in anything they may need.
While it's extremely important to keep up to date with COVID-19 and keep your physical being well, it is also important to keep your mental health well. For SAU News, I'm Estefania Sanchez.
An additional way some people may find helpful to care for their mental health is by taking a media detox, spending time away from the nosiness of the news, and just having time for yourself can help times like this be less overwhelming. It's been 2 weeks since students were asked to leave campus due to COVID-19 concerns. Many of them are now at home. We faced on a few students for a question of the day. They told us what they missed the most about being away from Southern.
What do you miss the most about being away from Southern and not being on campus?
Personally, I really miss the spiritual aspect of Southern, because being at home, it really tests like your relationship with God.
I miss the most about being away from school is just like the being able to see my friends, I guess, hanging out with people and like seeing all the faces around campus. It's, I guess, the community part of everything.
The accessibility to class, to be able to talk to teachers, like like being away from teachers, it's very inconvenient for me to have to email them or text them and, wait for their response.
I miss having vending machines close by. I know that's a silly response, but I'm a big snack eater, so it's always nice when we were on campus to be able to run to a vending machine and grab, a little something to munch on.
Personal interaction with people and developing relationships in person.
Accessibility, like the library's there, the teachers are there, and also the cafeteria. I don't know, I kind of miss it because it's convenient.
I really miss the routine, because right now there's like every day is like a weekend kind of, and it just feels like everything's out of balance, and there's like nothing to like grasp onto, nothing to anchor to.
Experts say one key to online learning success is promptly emailing professors when you have questions or concerns. Connecting with your classmates early and often can also relieve stress. That will be all for today. Thank you so much for joining us. SAU News is a production of the TV news reporting class in Southern School of Journalism and Communication. We know many of you are dealing with a lot of stuff since college life has been turned upside down. What's your story? Head over to our Instagram page and send us a note. That's SAU_news. Thanks for watching. On behalf of our news team, stay safe and be well. I'm Katie Castillo reporting from my home in Chattanooga. See you next week.